All right. Is that good or?
Yeah, that's good.
Or should I?
We're rolling. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Yeah, this is
the. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No. This is my brother Terrence right here. And so for future streams, I'm going to be, incorporating this brother because we really have similar ideas and whatnot. And the whole reason I started this stream was also to get more perspectives from our respective ummah.
Inshallah.
Yeah, Eid Mubarak to all the ummah out there, especially our brothers and sisters out there. Whether they in Palestine, Afghanistan, Burma, that are facing oppression and violence on a daily basis. Our hearts go out to you first and foremost. The first topic, I guess, that comes to mind that we kind of want to go over is I've been trying to have a little bit more conversations. Oh, hey, my brother Hamid. Hey, what's up, brother?
Eid Mubarak.
Salam. Hey, brother. I think this is a really good conversation. So, hey, feel free to jump in. I'll put the link out there. Put the link for you to join if you're interested. But yeah, I want to kind of talk about how the obstacles to marriage and how in this day and age, especially in the West, it seems like even though we're supposed to be one there are all these barriers to somebody finding a spouse, especially for brothers. And I'm going to be very blunt, especially for melanated brothers also. There's a lot of barriers, and if you look at the demographics, especially in the U.S., the ummah is so small that we really can't afford to be super picky on, they have to be from this culture, they have to be Arab or Indian or Pakistani or something like that. Unfortunately, unless you want to send your kids or your respective self to those countries where there's a bigger population, you don't have the pickings are slim. So if you create all these barriers and you're super picky about who you get married to or who your kids get married to, honestly, let's just be honest. When they get out in the world and they're going to college or they're going to high school and they're just becoming an adult, the Western world, yes, they're going to be very, very tempted to have a haram relationship because you made getting a halal relationship such a barrier. Terrence, you want to have any, because you've been actually married, so you want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, of course. First off, I just want to give a shout out to my channel if you're willing to view it, inshallah. I go by The Chosen One, The Guided One. And my Instagram is also the man _ with the picture, like a jar picture.
Hey, actually, if you want to type that in, brother, go ahead.
Type it in?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm a slow typer, but I'll get in there.
Yeah. Hey.
Get in there. I bet it's okay, and this is my.
Well, yeah, we just put it in his channel, so you guys can link it up and just check out his content. He's on Instagram.
Right.
Pretty good content as well.
Yes, most of my content is on my Instagram, so I'll leave that one there, and then you can message me there if you want, like my YouTube or my Facebook. But just to kind of bandwagon off of what my brother here was saying, I think also there's a lot of, especially for melanated men and women, there's not a lot of support, being that we already have a system that's against us. It's kind of hard to acclimate ourselves to another system that in the long term might benefit us, but like he said, there's not a lot of support in getting us to kind of establish an environment to have healthy relationships, halal relationships, and as previous Christians, we as people who grew up in the West, we actually had those types of relationships because we didn't know any better. You know what I mean? We didn't know how to approach a woman respectfully. respectfully and get to know her family and you know, her father, get her father's permission, you know, the orthodox way of actually doing things, and to establish, you know, the dowry and all these other things. We didn't know anything about that. Now that coming to the dean, now that we do have the knowledge, you know, it doesn't do anything to have knowledge that we can't apply to our day-to-day lives. So, yeah, I guess we're going to kind of just like dive in on some of the details and you know, some of the aspects of it. So, yeah.
Yeah, I thought about this a lot. And for instance, a lot of masjids, I think, are creating a lot of barriers. And this is no disrespect to masjid, the masjid community and masjid leadership. But one thing I find that's perplexing is when I was interested in marriage, a lot of the times I would talk to the imam or the sheikh, and they would basically say, "Oh, go online and do this, do that." And if you look at the online dating scene, honestly, I don't really think that it's really halal. I think a lot of it is it's just a Muslim Tinder. Like a lot of these sites are just Muslim Tinder. A lot of the people go in there and they act like, oh, I'm looking for marriage, but what they're really looking for is just like a hookup, and they're trying to date. You know, we all know that that's haram. So in that aspect, I think if you're not going to the masjid and you're trying to get, help from the masjid, it's going to be hard. Oh, my brother Hamid, bro, this is my homie right here.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam.
Wa alaikum salam, brother.
Can you guys hear me?
Pleasure to meet you.
Yeah, I hear you good.
Nice to meet you too. Salam.
Salam. How's your Eid, brother?
It's going good. Alhamdulillah. How's yours?
Fantastic, brother. You know what I'm saying? We're especially, you know, where we're living, you know, I always think about what our people going over through and all over the world, you know, especially our brothers in Palestine who can't even pray in peace. You know, everything's a blessing, you know what I'm saying? So I never take this for granted to have like safety, you know what I'm saying? Everything that I need here. So.
Yeah.
So, brother, what do you think? Oh, yeah, go ahead.
No, what do you mean? What do I think about what's going on in Palestine, or as far as the topic of dating?
If you want to talk about Palestine, we're kind of like free-forming this, man. So actually, if you want to harp on Palestine, man, by all means, man, we got a lot of thoughts on that as well. Go ahead.
I mean, my thoughts on Palestine, the media nowadays, it's a blessing nowadays that we have internet access and mobile devices, because now they can't lie. And it's funny how the United States can, sit back and see innocent children and women being killed by the Israelis and just be like, well, we're telling you to stop. But if it was the other way around, if Palestine's 1,000 missiles landed in Israel, they'll be going in. The United States will aid Israel. So it's ridiculous. But now we see here in the United States firsthand who's doing the murdering. And that's the United States, that's the UK, and that's Israel. Who's doing the murdering? You know what I'm saying? They are the terrorists. Because why isn't the United States stepping into this conflict? Why? Because they're on the side of the Israelis, and they know the Israelis are like they are like a giant compared to the Palestinians. So they're like, well, we're only going to tell them to stop, but if they don't stop, it's not like we're going to aid Palestine, but we have to make it look good to save face. You know what I mean? So it's ridiculous. Right. It's ridiculous, and people don't know the stats because the media wasn't popping back when Bill Clinton and George Bush first came into term. So people don't really know the stats. But since Bill Clinton came into office, all the way up until Donald Trump, over 3 million innocent children and women have been killed, and men have been killed in the Middle East or in Islamic countries due to this fake war on terrorism. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But don't get it twisted, brothers. Don't sleep and don't not expect the CIA to go into the Middle East and stage some fake terrorist attacks so the United States can get involved. You know what I'm saying? Right. Don't sleep on that, because it will happen. You know what I'm saying? And that's what they've been doing for years. The CIA will go in, they'll stage a terrorist attack, and then the United States will be like, well, now we can go in. Why aren't you stepping in now? They're killing innocent people.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But it's because it's the other side. They don't want to step in. You know what I'm saying? Like,
of course, because there's other means or other reasons why they're going into these countries that they won't share with the public, of course. and we don't see that side. They create these narratives in the media, but then, you know, you look at other servers overseas and you see all the video footage. You said, you know, they can't hide anything anymore, and you see what's taking place. Everyone has a camera on every street corner, it seems like. And slowly but surely, you're seeing a lot of their flaws coming to the surface. You're seeing a lot of their lies coming to the surface. And unfortunately, you know, the people who do stand up and try to talk about it, or at least speak out for justice, are usually the ones who are shot down. And it reminds me of Bible quotes, actually. I forget where in the Bible, but it says that those that talk about peace are the exact ones who aren't doing peace. And it's you can see it clearly, and it's sad. It's a farce what's going on, really.
Yeah, brother. And I think about. Oh, go ahead, brother.
Go ahead, bro. What was you gonna say, exactly?
Yeah. What I was gonna say, Matt, is when brother Malik Shabazz, also known as Malcolm X, when he went over to, you know, the Middle East, he went to the Holy Land in Africa. He said, in particular, he met with the Palestinian leadership, and he even said, like, what was going on over there was just like what's going on in South Africa. It's an apartheid system. You know what I'm saying? And also, a lot of the stuff that goes underground in Israel, too, is when you think about racism, we have the American experience, of course, because, you know, a lot of us were from this region from the West, right? But in Israel, man, there's a lot of racism that goes on in Israel, even with Black Jews. You know what I'm saying? Like Beta Israel, the real Jews. Yeah, and Ethiopian Jews and stuff like that. They get heavily discriminated against. And it wasn't until the 70s, 1977, I believe, that they were even considered eligible to immigrate to Israel. And so the Israeli media machine has its hands in its pockets all over the U.S. and stuff like that. So you're never going to see any depiction of the negative side of Israel. It's always, you know, I mean, you can get a terrorist movie with a million Muslims, but you're never going to see, in particular, actually, there's been prime ministers of Israel that have been targeted for assassination because they've tried to have a peace settlement with Palestine. Actually, there was one that got assassinated in the early 2000s by an extremist Orthodox Jew, who basically didn't like the fact that he was trying to look for a two-state solution to Palestine. So, I mean, a lot of stuff is getting kind of exposed now if you get the information.
Yeah. I mean, they can't hide it now. I mean, there's tons of Muslims out there with mobile devices, streaming, posting videos, and sharing what's really happening. So you can't hide it. And I love the fact that Orthodox Judaism, which are, you know, the real children of Israel, are supporting Palestine. They are actually out there with their signs supporting Palestine. These Zionist Jews and Christians, even Zionist Christians, and they are, I believe NOI, they're like a form of a Zionist Islam. You know what I mean? They're like Freemasons. They're part of that secret agenda of running the world. You feel what I'm saying? So I mean, it's nice to see that, you know, the real Judaism, real Christianity, and real Islam is sticking together against this Zionist terrorism. You know what I mean? Yes. Because you know, a lot of people, they're ignorant here in the United States. They think, you know, Islam is the enemy. Islam is the enemy. But now you know the truth. You know, now you see what's happening. You know what I'm saying? Firsthand through people's mobile devices. You see children being killed. You know what I'm saying? And no one who preaches freedom in America and or says they're against terrorism is going to be like, well, we're for Israel and what they're doing. No, they have so many military strength. They have so much of a military strength. It is ridiculous that they would even shoot back. Why are you even shooting back? You feel what I'm saying? They lit off 1,000. Palestine sent 1,000 missiles. 5 hit. Israel sends their missiles. Every single one connects. Why are you even shooting back? Why? You know what I'm saying? You know, Israel can crush Palestine in an instant. But the Islamic world, if the Islamic world came together, I mean, Turkey, Indonesia, Pakistan, you know, the Northern Africa, Western Africa, Eastern Africa, you know what I'm saying? If we all came together, I'm telling you right now, United States, UK, Israel, Canada, whoever wants it, they better get ready. It's ridiculous. To go against 2 billion people stretched across every continent. You know what I mean? But it's another thing. I don't want to get too deep into it, but I mean, my prayers are for the people of with the people of Palestine. Israel is definitely doing the wrong thing. Like they are very, very arrogant to be able to flex and do that and get away with it. Like this is true. This is true. How can I say this? It's murder. This is a criminal state in front of us, and people are allowing it. Like we're so dumbed down that like we're still voting for Joe Biden after he says black people shouldn't go to school with rich people, or like he said poor people shouldn't go to. Yeah, poor people shouldn't go to school with rich people, or white people. Like, come on, man. Like we're voting for Joe Biden. I said as soon as Joe Biden comes into office, we're going back to war. Now you see what's happening this year, right? You think we're not going back to war, United States? You out of your tree. You know what I'm saying? Like it's ridiculous, man. Like I don't know where the world is headed, but I call for a mass migration. Of African Americans, Asian Americans. We're not even Americans. We just need to go back to where we come from and defend that land and grow that economy, because that economy will boom far past the Western world. You know what I mean? So it's like we just need to get out of here, because when the time comes for all of us Islamic brothers in the United States and Europe, we need to get up out of here, because I don't think our brothers on the other side are gonna wait. You know what I'm saying? So, like.
Yeah, I like a quote also from the Bible. I do a lot of Bible because a lot of Christians, I came from the Christian faith. A lot of Christians don't realize that their scriptures tell a big story about those parts of the world. Those, I'm going to quote, I think it's in, I forget which verse. Those that call themselves Jews are not. They are the synagogue of Satan.
Right.
This is quote from Jesus out of the Bible. Those that call themselves Jews are not. They are the synagogue of Satan. Mm-hmm. And so it's plain as day in their scriptures, but they pick and choose, like the Quran says. They their own their own validity, and then they try to enact that in the mainstream narrative in society and geopolitically. And that's what's taking place. And that's why I tell people, whether you're Muslim, Jew, Christian, you need to make sure that you're following the true deen. You need to make sure that you're following the steps of the Prophet ﷺ, because even, like you said, even Islam has its own version of Freemasons and Zionists and all that. Like it's a very deep war we're in, not just physically, but it's for your mental. In some of my videos, that's what I talk about. I'm a little more, how can you say, how can you describe that? I'm a little more out there, unorthodox with my method of, content, just because I'm so passionate about truth and where that should lead us, where that should take us, inshallah. But yeah, you're absolutely right, brother. It is. I like that you said mass migration. We definitely need something like that to kind of just like group us together so we can establish our own, because let things continue. Yeah. We let things continue the way they are. I'm telling you, they're gonna eradicate us, man. Genocide.
Yeah, like what do you think is gonna happen to the small Muslim population here in the United States and Europe? They're gonna lock us all up or kill us when it's time. When they're going to Islam fully. So
exactly what they're doing in China, and then who's in cahoots with China? We know this. It was on the ballots, and the public still ignored these things with Joe Biden. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And as one who served my country, and brother here also, it's a shame to see what took place. We know what's going on. We know what the Constitution says, and the media doesn't claim who the presidency is. The Electoral College and the Electoral College is the one who decides. Right, and a lot of people don't know the Electoral College is actually in the Vatican. A lot of people don't know that.
Really?
Yeah. Deep.
Hey, I got my brother Screwy on here, man. I haven't seen this homie in a long time. He's a Orthodox Christian from Eritrea. Yeah. Hey, Screwy, you still on mute? You good? You hear me?
I'm good. I just wanted to drop in and say Eid Mubarak to everybody, if that's not a problem. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Oh yeah, of course not.
Walaikum salam.
Thank you.
And I just wanted to say, hey, if anybody doesn't know what I am, I'm an Orthodox Christian, Tawadah Orthodox, and y'all should know what that is because you guys refer to us as the Abyssinians, but there was no Abyssinia until after the 13th century. You're talking about the Axumites. Get that clear. Just wanted to make that sure. If you guys know history of ancient Axum, my brothers. But Zachy, it's been a while. It's been a minute since I heard from you. I was just hoping everything was good with you.
Oh
Zachy,
yeah,
can you hear me?
I take a little break.
Hold on, you're borging out. You're borging.
I was really.
No, Zachy, hold on a second. You're borging. Connection problems. Can you hear me now?
Yeah. Hold up. Let me go on mute real quick. Let's make sure that's me. All right.
Huh? Okay. Talib, you good, brother?
Yes, I'm good, man. The prophecies will come soon where your brothers and my brothers will be tag teaming up.
All in due time.
Because it's supposed to happen again like it did in way back when the Roman Empire was killing the Christians, the disciples, the first generation of the disciples of Jesus. The Roman Empire and those Zionist Jews, they were killing the Christians that followed Jesus Christ. The teachings of what Jesus was teaching was the oneness of God. And, that's when a lot of Muslims stepped in and we defeated the Romans hundreds of years later because of things like this, because they were fighting against this oneness of God ordeal that we were preaching.
Okay.
And
anyway, I didn't want to come in. I just don't want to be here for too long. Zachy, can you hear me, man? You're muted, dude. I'll mute your mic, Zach. Zachy? Zachy, I can't. Oh, God. Let's just wait a little bit. How's Ramadan for you anyway?
Ramadan's good, man, but it could be better, man, without this conflict, but everything's good.
This is the age of fitna, my dear brother. That is the thing you have to understand. I think you already understand that better than I do.
Yeah.
Where I come from, we say fitna. It means the same thing, fitna, in my mother tongue.
Yeah, the Dunya, man. It's like the Dunya. But I don't know. I think he lost his link.
Got to be careful sometimes out here. These YouTube streets aren't as safe as they seem sometimes.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, technical difficulties. It is what it is.
Yeah, but I gotta go. I mean, when you guys get back together and we can have a discussion without the connections.
It's ironic. I've seen you. You're wearing a thobe and a gutra and everything with the egal. Kind of. Man, it's interesting. Just seeing that look I haven't seen that look in a long time.
Yeah, man. I mean, Islamic, Arab.
No, that's Arab. That's Arab. That's Arab. Because you go to places. You ever been to Sudan?
No.
Because they dress definitely in Sudan. They have a jalaba and everything like that.
Yeah, I know. It like with the culture, as far as culture is, like everyone dresses different Islamically, but everyone has the long thobe and the different.
In accordance with the law, but it varies from place to place. You have to consider the region you live in and the climate and everything. So how one dresses in one place of the world is not applicable in other places because you have to be in accordance with the climate. Remember that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Certain places you can't dress. I mean, if you look at like folks in West Africa, how they dress is not the same how it is in East Africa.
Right.
So in accordance with the climate and the culture and with that, and in accordance with Islamic garb. all in context. That's all I'm
Right.
saying. So it's like, what was that?
What was that noise? That was a notification on my computer.
Oh, okay. Good. Zach,
But yeah, you know, Arab, Islamic fashion, whatever. You know what I mean?
I know. I ain't knocking it off. I'm just saying it's been a while since I've seen that. You know, it's like it looks good on you though. That's all. I'm giving you props. I'm just giving you props, but because I remember how we used to rap that back in the day, different styles and whatnot.
Well, are you Arab?
No, I'm East African.
East African from where?
Eritrea. Zaki mentioned that just now. Weren't you paying attention?
No, I can't hear with all the talking going on, and you know what I'm saying.
I noticed the background. Speak of the brother. Hey,
Hey,
what's
you know,
up?
yeah, we're back. Dude, it was weird. I don't know if somebody was like seriously hacking our stuff. I don't know if you heard those weird noises or whatever like that. But bro, like we had to like restart my computer and everything, bro. And I think it's because of the topic. That's never happened.
Listen. I just came to say hi and see how you're doing, brother. That's all. So I just wanted to, send you my best and hope everything good for you. God willing, everything will be all right with everybody. I hope y'all, just enjoying this holiday like it should be, having peace and finding, and learn everything that needs to be learned.
Yeah, all I gotta say is I'm out. Zaki, la ilaha illallah, Allahu Akbar.
Oh, yeah, thanks for stopping by. Hey, man, I'm sorry about the issues or whatever like that. Dude,
hey, it doesn't matter.
Hey,
it doesn't matter. I'm just glad I'm glad to see you, dude. It's good to see you, dude. That's all I can say right now. I'm just glad that you.
Likewise, man. Hey, you're welcome on.
Who's your brother there? Who's your friend right there?
Oh, this is my man Terrence.
I'm Terrence.
I'm not Terrence.
What was your name again?
They call me Wolf. I don't. That's the screwy because I'm a little screwed up. I'm a little screwy. Some of us don't use our own names for our own safety. You understand that?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. But no, it's not. Well, peace to you, brother. Nice to meet you. And
you also.
anyway, Zaki, Eid Mubarak. Allahu ma'akum. Y'all stay safe, right? One.
You too, brother. Take care.
Awesome.
Yeah, man. Hey, sorry guys for the connection, bro, but I kid you not. There's never been an issue with any of my streams like that. But I think because of the topic, I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but I think like legit, like it was somebody maybe saw the hashtags and jumped in and decided to hack the stream or something like that. Because we had like my computer had like a really weird noise. It's never done that before. So it's kind of crazy, bro. But anyway, I guess we'll move on. I guess so. Before the brothers jumped on, we were talking about obstacles to marriage,
right?
And with how small the population is of people in the Ummah or whatever like that, I think it's getting really really hard for us to be picky, and a lot of it has to do with culture and the parents. I think the parents are the picky ones. I don't really think the kids are as discriminatory as like they make it seem. Hello, Nicer. What's up? How's it going? Long time no see. But so Brother Terrence has actually been married, and he can kind of like fill you in on what like the process of getting married and how it was for him. So, brother, you have the floor.
Yeah, actually, it was astonishing the way it happened for me because I was actually on a path of truth already. Just the way I was going in my life and the direction I was going, I was struggling a lot, and then I met a girl, beautiful woman, beautiful family. We actually started dating. I knew nothing about being Muslim or Islam. And she then told me that there was nothing that we could do any further as far as seeing each other or even being in communication because of her faith. And then her parents actually got involved and actually facilitated us getting together, which was something far-fetched to me and something foreign to me. I didn't even realize, but I thought it was such a beautiful thing. And I had gone to the masjid one day, and to meet with her mother, and such a beautiful soul. The way in which we spoke with the sheikh, and the way in which she just like pleaded with me to have respect for what they had in terms of like the what's the, I'm
The
at a loss for words.
traditions?
The traditions, yeah.
Yeah.
Like the tears in her eyes. She was literally in tears because she thought that she may lose her daughter to some, Western black dude who's just, doing whatever with his life, right? But it was funny because I actually took some time after speaking with the sheikh. It took about 2 months to look into the deen. And once I did, I was actually convinced through what I had previously believed with my faith in Jesus Christ at the time. And then when I compared it to the Quran, I actually had done so, reached out to an old friend of mine from high school, an Afghan brother, and I ended up going to his home and he showed me the Quran, and I read some of the scripture, and I thought, you know what, this sounds exactly like what Jesus says in the Bible, but that's not what's being taught at church. And so that's kind of when I actually took my shahada in his house, and his family. They were so hospitable and just beautiful people, and I just realized like that's the kind of environment and that's the kind of lifestyle that I want to live and be able to give to others. And I then went to back to the chef that I had talked to, and took a shahada with him in front of the witnesses, and he sent it to my at the time wife's family. And that's when we were able to get together and establish, the nikah and everything. And it was beautiful. And basically what I'm trying to get at, and the point that I'm trying to make, is that it's so important to have a sense of community in terms of establishing a halal way to get your kids or your family members or your friends involved in marriage. Because Allah says that when a man marries, it's half his deen. Marriage is the institution to Allah and to Jannah, right? And so if we don't have that, but we are supposed to be the deen, that leads humanity and the earth into times of peace and times of tranquility, how can we do that if our own communities are divided and we don't even know how to, bring our families together? So I guess you can use my life as an example to kind of show, how the importance of that versus the path that my ex now and I could have taken, which was the, haram, doing fitna and, doing all these things where, we're actually taking from the deen, we're taking away from those who, don't have it as fortunate as us here in the, in the Western world, in the United States, where we should have the biggest sense of community because of the freedoms that we share, But yeah, that's pretty much my story as far as, coming to the deen and being married. It was a beautiful experience.
Yeah, that's what's up, man. I mean, I'm glad you got to experience that, and I'm sorry that things didn't work out, in the long run. But I'm saying my parents are divorced. Yeah, my parents are divorced. So I know how divorce kind of happens and things like that. Actually, but I've never experienced it firsthand for myself. The closest thing that I ever experienced to that was there was a girl that there was a sister that her family owned a kebab shop, and I used to come in there all the time. And I used to see her a lot. She never wore a hijab or whatever like that. She was pretty westernized, but she was pretty cute. And after a while, I salaamed her, and she started gathering interest and stuff. And then, I saw her one time was getting to eat with her friends. And then, I decided to get her number. We were talking for a bit. And then, so we went on a date. There wasn't any chaperone or anything like that, but I kept it a lot as far as on the topics and stuff like that. I didn't touch her or anything like that. But she really wanted to kind of hang out afterwards and stuff. And I was like, hey, no, sister, I want to keep things halal and things like that. And then come to find out later, that was kind of like a turn off from her, because we talked about marriage and things like that, but she was just like, yeah, I'm real young, I'm still trying to figure everything out and all this other kinds of stuff. And I think it's a common thing in the West. It's just like the West makes you think that you have to experience all this stuff before you get married and things like that. And a lot of that is just code word for you want to sleep around. That's the way that I see
it. That's
it.
what it boils down to.
Yeah, exactly.
It may not mean that initially, but eventually that just gives you the opportunity. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, because people have this notion where like, oh, I get married after I've had my fun and stuff like that. And sometimes it's really ironic because that doesn't lead to marriage either. Because once you get so burnt out on having multiple partners and all these relationships and stuff like that, at least in my opinion, you can't have the same affection towards somebody after a period of time once you've gotten that history and stuff like that, especially a woman and stuff like that. You've had all these guys, and you don't have an emotional connection with the guy that you would like to marry and stuff like that. So a lot of them, they settle for less when they do get married, and they're not even that attracted to that person in general. It's kind of like, oh, well, this is now time for me to, settle down and this, that, and the third. You know what I'm saying?
If I may, that phrase is called pair bonding. It's actually harder for women to do. So being that they're the more sensitive sex, they're the more, they absorb more. They're the receivers. They're the gravity. That I do a lot of metaphysics and spiritual things. So that's my lens in which I like to, conversate. But to kind of piggyback on what you're saying, it's called pair bonding. It's harder for women to pair bond if they've had multiple partners. Same thing with men, but for men it's more psychological. And it's deep. It's women. It's a lot of psychology, but it's also physiology, and that's the link between those two. So that's why it's more detrimental for women in that sense. But yeah, it's really hard for someone to, both men and women. It's not just a woman thing. It's everybody's responsibility to keep yourselves guarded, and it's tough. And trust me, talking to you from experience. It's tough to, go from one extreme to the next and try to find balance, So it's really important that we also create an environment and create a norm as far as speaking on establishing a sense of community for our brothers and sisters to come together and get married and look for love.
Yes,
look for happiness.
Yeah, so I got my brother Curly, man. He lives in the UK, man. He's a Somali brother from the UK, man. Salam alaikum, bro. It's nice to see you. I haven't seen this guy in a long time, man. He was one of my first subscribers, man. I was got mad love for this cat right here. So, hey, if you want to jump on, do you have anything to add to the stream by all means, man? Yeah, this is my brother Terrence right here. Yeah, I friended him like a couple of months ago, man. And, me and this brother, we really kind of have a lot of things in common, you know what I mean? And so for future streams, I want to incorporate him a lot more, man, because the whole reason I started the stream was to get more voices for the Ummah and, have more conversations, because, I can't just be beating the dead horse, you know what I'm saying? In this perspective, I want to get other people's perspectives, even if we may see different, views on things. I think the conversation so it's productive and healthy. Alaikum salam.
Alaikum salam.
Yeah. God, brother, show us love. Oh, sorry, get slipping on this thing. But another time, brother. Okay. Yeah, man. I'm sorry, hey, but Eid Mubarak, man. Hope you enjoy your Eid with your family, your loved ones as well, brother.
Eid Mubarak.
Yeah. But yeah, I hope to see you on the next one, man. I hope to do another one maybe tomorrow and keep it going. I took a break because of Ramadan and things like that. I was also really busy for work, but inshallah, I hope to at least do one like twice, one every other day again and get back on that tip. So thank you so much for your support, by the way. I really appreciate it. So when you, for instance, when I think about also marriage and stuff, like for me, also culture does matter to a certain degree, but alhamdulillah, like I'm happy to get somebody that just loves me in general. Like I know in my family, for instance, my dad he was kind of like Hebrew Israelite, so he was just like, hey, marry somebody that's also black, and things like that. My mom wants me to marry somebody also black or African American stuff. But to me, that's important, but not as important as getting a spouse, period. You know what I'm saying? You're lucky in this life to just find somebody that loves you for who you are in general, man. You know what I'm saying? And if you know, in this day and age, man, just finding somebody with good qualities and good character is a struggle in and of itself. So just because they have the same, you know, there's that saying, all skin folk ain't kinfolk. You know what I'm saying? So just because somebody looks like you or they come from the same culture and stuff like that doesn't mean they have your best interest at heart. And that,
especially in the Black community, man.
yeah.
We don't tell each other out quick. Like it's tough.
Exactly.
It's not even trust nowadays. And a lot of it is because of our psychosis and what we've been put through as far as the PTSD involved in our that boot that's shoving us to the bottom of society. But it's even with each other now, it's hard to trust each other because it's just like let's come together. Or can I trust you to not just look at me as a way to give you financial means or for sex or for what else? Just whatever could convenience that person at the time. So yeah, I agree.
And so brother Curly has a question. What do you think of members like Kevin Samuels and MTR in the Black community? So you want to start that off because it seems like you know who you're talking
Kevin
about.
Samuels, yeah. I've actually watched a lot of his content. A lot of these guys that are considered bitter, and they call it MGTOW also, yeah, which is men going their own way. A lot of this is from, it's such a deep topic. A lot of this is from, women and the way they've acclimated themselves to society and how men, if we make an attempt at trying to build and lead and establish our own as far as a family unit, it's harder nowadays because of that position that women are in. And these men become bitter. I'm not saying Kevin Samuels is, but I feel like his way of going about portraying that is a little unorthodox, and I can see why people go against him. But at the same time, if you actually look deeper into what he's doing, you got to remember this man. He doesn't necessarily have a deen, but he's doing what he thinks is right in terms of calling women out and making them accountable for their actions, just like men for what seems like eons have been held accountable, even after the whole feminist movement, where we're either put in prisons or we've turned homosexual, or where there's not a lot of men left. He's trying to make a stand, and like I said, he's a little unorthodox, and I don't agree with the methods, but the message and the overall content that he has, I do agree with it. And a lot of people are doing. I've watched a lot of his videos. A lot of what the women are doing is just showing emotional deflection because of the questions that they may or may not be able to answer, or because of the feelings that they get when he may mention something, and it just so happens to relate to the lifestyle that they've chosen, they've lived, and then they project that onto him as far as anger and frustration, and they call him a bad guy, misogynist, or this or that. And it's really not that way, actually. He's just pointing out, point blank, period, hey, this is what it is. Like the woman he rated a 6, he didn't rate her a 6. He asked, and she rated herself a 6. So he went off of that. And a lot of people he got so much heat. That's like millions of videos out there about him. It's crazy.
Yeah, Allah help you, Muslim brothers, find my sister. Hey, Ami, bro. Thank you, sis. Thank you so much.
Yeah, likewise.
Yeah, so there's another brother. He has a question called NTR. I actually really like NTR, and he yeah, exactly, because he has a woman come onto his channel, and he'll have a one-on-one with them, and then really put them on the spot, why do you have these certain values? What do you look for in a husband? Why you want to be independent, yet you want to get married, and a lot of things like that. And I think that's pretty healthy to get a woman to kind of get there, put them on the spot, because there's a lot of, to be completely honest, when you get a group of people together, they're going to kind of try to come to a consensus and say what sounds nice. But when you get somebody one-on-one, they're going to be more real with you. When you put them on the spot and they don't have time to really think about the answers to your questions, because we're all kind of pre-programmed about what appropriate questions and what appropriate answers we're going to give to certain questions, right? And I like that he's about self-improvement, and the Roommates podcast, another good one. They're Christian brothers, but they have the same kind of thing where they're about hey man, build yourself up, stop putting women on a pedestal, and I think especially as Black men, or African American men, melanated men, whatever you like to call us. A big problem in our culture is we put getting access to women on such a high pedestal. It's all about like, all we do is want to get dressed nice and get a nice car, or become a rapper, or become an entertainer, just to have more access to beautiful women. And if you look at it now, man, I mean, a lot of these guys are getting caught up in scandals. They're getting broke because of child support and all this, that, and the third, because it's such a hollow, materialistic way to look at life. If that's just all you want, it's just easy access to beautiful women. Because so-called beautiful women, all they want you for is not even your character. They want you because of your resources. Right. And you're going to get that. You know, you're going to reap what you sow, as they say. So a lot of brothers, I think, are being led astray like that. I mean, to the point where people even question your sexuality if you're not even, you know, have a high body count. You're not out there freaking smashing a girl every other day or something like that. But like those guys that are doing that, I mean, they don't really have much to say for it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, they're chasing skirts all the time, but they're not building themselves. So when they want to have a family or start a family or start a business, whatever you like to have, they're not actually building anything. You know what I'm saying? That's my personal view on that.
I also think that a lot of it is our fault, because at a certain point you become an adult, you mature, you get to make your own choices, and you get to choose whether or not you want to live in that sort of mentality as a man, or to just stay within it because it's what you know. You know, sometimes it's not, and that's half of it. The other half is the ones that are raising us to be this way. And unfortunately, it is a lot of the kind of it's everybody's fault. It's man and woman's fault, but it seems to be the single mothers, right? Because there's a huge pandemic of single mothers out there, and a lot of these single mothers are raising these men. So when these men turn out to be the choice of these women that don't necessarily seem to be satisfied as far as their choice in men, it's literally, we can only blame the majority in which these men are brought up from, the communities and the environment and the childhood in which they're being brought up in. And it's the mothers. And it's funny because the men that do want to stand up and be something in life were either ridiculed or were shot out. And the women support this. They support the men being kicked out of the house, and then they, you know, write it on social media or in the movies, in the media, you know, whatever media platform. Being a man and being ridiculing a man is now become a norm. It's like it's become like a sitcom. And if you notice, every modern sitcom, it's literally doing everything it can to belittle the modern man and to bring him down. So it's not like I said, at the end of the day, you become an adult and it's a choice. But it's a harder choice to make because you lived your whole life leading up to that point, where that whole life that you live is basically, you've been brought up to think that this is what being a man is, and really it's just your mother's version of it because you grew up in a house. Just being like, for our community at least, I can speak on that. You know, the Black community is basically, you know, the prime example of that. And we're not educated. We don't educate ourselves. We don't educate our children. And it's sad. It's very sad.
Bro, you know, it's also crazy. I thought that it's easier for somebody to get in bed with somebody and to get into someone's body than it is to get into someone's heart. You know, and that's so crazy. It's like getting a committed relationship with somebody, whether it be marriage or whatever, is harder to get into than to get into somebody's bed. But it used to be the other way around, right? But there's a price for that. That's why we have so many single mothers. That's why we have so many kids in orphanages and group homes and stuff like that. And the whole, you know, sexual revolution, the bad thing that happened with it was people use it as an excuse to be reckless. And our society now is a direct reflection of that. It's easy, you know, pornography is also another big issue, I think, too, with young boys especially, getting exposed to that and thinking that that's the proper way to be with women and cope and stuff like that. And they're already super hypersexualized. So if they don't have access to sex, they're looked upon as being weak. And so they use pornography as an outlet because they don't know how to engage with the opposite sex. Right. And then on the flip side too, you have girls seeing how much attention they get for their sexuality, and they place so much value on that. And I mean, I've even looked at interviews with a lot of these so-called adult entertainment artists. And a lot of these girls are like, oh, I wanted to be a porn star at age 14, 15. That's sad, disgusting.
Sick.
Of anything to be in your life, you really want to be that. Dude, actually, there was somebody I was on a stream with earlier. Their mom actually was a prostitute, and he talked about the experience of like getting bullied because of that. And I was just like, well, dude, are you proud of your mom doing that? He's like, well, I mean, now I am. I'm like, dude, then why can you get mad when people call your mom for what she is? And would you want your daughter to do that? And he took some time to think about it. He's just like, oh, well, I just want to support my daughter's dreams. And I'm like, dude, if anything your daughter could become,
You're
like that's stupid, and that's freaking disgusting, bro.
You need to get slapped, bro.
Yeah, exactly.
How could you even, that's perpetuating. You know what I mean? How could you even have that mindset about your baby girl? You know what I mean?
Facts, bro.
You know what I mean? And then not only that, there's women out there that help to perpetuate that. Like if he speaks against it, and all of a sudden he's a bad father because he doesn't want his daughter to have, to make herself and her womanly parts available to the rest of the world. Like, come on, like,
yeah.
Sick.
And the thing that's about that industry is they act like they're on par with becoming a doctor or a lawyer or a scientist or community leader, fighting a activist or something like that. It's just the bar is so low. Yeah, the bar is low. Like literally, it doesn't take much to do that because it's something that it's like, imagine me making a living off of just eating food. Like I do mukbang, right? I eating food, literally I just get on streams and I eat food and I make millions of dollars for that. That's the same thing I think about with these adult stars. They're just doing what we do behind closed doors, but they're just doing it in front of everybody. And they're just being, showered with money and all this kind of attention and things like that. And it's just like, dude, like there's already enough of them. Like if I have children and stuff like that, I don't want them to do that. Even if I was some hyper liberal freaking hippie freaking guy or whatever like that, even if I did believe that, I wouldn't want them. Yeah, I wouldn't want them to be that because there's already enough of them. Like you're replaceable. Like you're only going to be, they only want girls when they're fresh 18, and then you get exposed to the lifestyle. You're most likely going to get addicted to drugs and go through all this crazy stuff and the mental problems as a result of that. And then once you're out of the industry, you're literally the same society that will praise you for doing that also literally doesn't want anything to do with you after that. Like they don't want you to freaking run for Congress. They don't want you to do anything beyond what you did previously in life. You're always going to be labeled as that.
Protect your right to do it, but then when you want to get serious with your life, then all of a sudden, oh no, you're a terrible person. Like we can't do that.
Exactly. And no decent dude is going. Even the most liberal feminist dude still wouldn't want to marry a porn star. And the only reason that they would do that is they're a complete utter simp, and a lot of those women aren't even really into those guys.
Or mentally unstable.
Yeah, exactly.
Also, I wanted to kind of highlight what you were saying about women and the responsibility. The reason we're kind of harping on the women's side more than the men, because men, we have our issues too, and there's a lot we need to talk about in terms of becoming men, and we're in our own journeys of becoming men. It doesn't matter what age we're, because we've been dumbed down as a society and stripped of those things, and now there's no more of a spectrum. You're no longer a man or woman. You're somewhere between or beyond. Like it's crazy. But to kind of harp on what's going on, I think a lot of the responsibility lies with women because they have all the power now. If you look out, I always tell people, go to the highest peak in your city. Look out what you see. You'll see buildings, you'll see infrastructure, you'll see livelihood, you'll see commerce, you'll see all kinds of things, all of which men have put in place and that women benefit off of. Yet we're still the ones being ridiculed and being put at fault for all the things and negative things that are happening within society and things that are tearing apart relationships and families and marriage. But I would say women are more responsible because the shaitan comes after you first. When he wants to tear down the family, he'll come after the woman.
Yeah.
Look at the Quran, look at the Bible, look at the history. Shaitan came Eve first, right? Mm-hmm. He didn't come after Adam. He came after Eve because he knew that if he got to Eve could get to Adam because of her beauty, because of who she was. And now it's like you ask the modern woman, do you want to be this for the devil? You know, I have a post on my Instagram. It's high heels, right? And as you go through my post, a few pictures, you slide through it, you'll see that the high heels slowly turn into hooves, like demonic hooves, as if you're the walking Baphomet or something. You're walking temptation when you wear your heels. That's where it comes from. It comes from being a temptation, and being a temptation. Temptation itself is a sin, especially for men. Being that we're leaders that lead societies back to Allah, back to our families back to Allah. That's why we lead the prayer. It's rooted in gender. Everything is rooted in gender here in the third dimension. Look at a battery. You have the outie, which is the positive, and you have the innie, which is the negative. And that's supposed to flow. It's not that it's negative, and this one's only positive. It's supposed to flow in a balance, and it creates the power creation. Positive and negative come together. Masculine and feminine come together. It creates a creation. It creates a good child. You know what I mean? And we've done so many things to kind of separate that and sever that. And I feel like women, being that they're the access, they're the ones we need to access to get to that. You guys are the ones who need to be responsible, because the enemy is coming for your womb to bring his creation in, to establish his society. And you guys are, unfortunately, in masses, just letting it. You're opening your legs to the enemy. You're opening your hearts to the enemy. You're opening your minds to the enemy. And you're letting him get your mind. And yeah, that's all I have to say. I think a lot of the responsibility falls on women, and then a lot of the responsibility on the other spectrum falls on the men to create an environment for our women to do this, to flourish this way. Because if not, they're going to keep running back to the ones giving them a check. They're going to keep running back to the ones and giving them a roof over their head, or food in their stomachs, and all these other things. So, and that's why women are more responsible, because that's hard for men to do if we're not put in prison first, if we're not homosexual, if we're not ridiculed for trying to be a man. It's tough. It's really tough. So women need to step up in that area. Men, we're already out here trying. We're already working our asses off. We're already, We're already out here trying to build society. But in trying to do that, look at the epitome of any man who's ever stood up to try to build a society. He's either ended up dead or in prison. Mm-hmm. And it's because our women didn't support us. Look at the Bible. Anytime a man had been taken down, anytime a king was fallen, it's because the queen or the woman has had some say. You play chess. Who has the most power on the chessboard? The queen. But how are you using that? You like to tell women, you've been given this beauty, right? Right? I asked this girl, do you believe that you're beautiful as a woman, that God created you beautiful? She says, yes. And I said, okay, do you value that beauty? She goes, yes. And so I'd say, well, if you value it, okay, what do people do with valuable things, i.e. money, right? And she says, oh, they save it, they invest it, they put it away, they do it, spend it wisely. And I said, okay, well, with your beauty, are you saving it, investing it, putting it away, and spending it wisely? No, you're not. Unfortunately, and that's the masses. That's unfortunate. I'm talking too much, but
no. It's okay. It's up to brother. Yeah, and it's up to us. You know what I'm saying? Like, see this conversation right now. I know this conversation makes people feel super uncomfortable, because the way that it gets flipped is, if you criticize anything that women do, you're looked upon as being misogynist. Like, right? Like for instance, right? I think words like that don't really even mean anything anymore. It's just like, it's like you can criticize anything they do. It could be like, for instance, like you could have an abusive mother. Your mother would like abuse you and all this other kinds of stuff. And then you criticize her. There'll be some feminists that will come up with an excuse, like, oh, you're a misogynist and toxic masculinity and stuff like that. And it's words like that, they're used to shut down critical thinking, right? That's why I kind of like wanted to, that's why spaces like this have been created, unfortunately, and it's because we're trying to have productive conversations where we can be free to speak our minds. And just like you, for instance, see this channel, man, I don't have a single video where I really go out and I really just use the opportunity to bash anything. The only thing I really kind of bash is the entertainment industry. I'm unapologetic about that. I think the entertainment industry is complete garbage. and it is one of the main perpetuators and tools used to destroy the youth and to lead them astray. Because like people don't look up to their parents anymore. People don't look up to their cultural heroes anymore. What they do look up to is celebrities and musicians. And that's unfortunate. That's where they get their moral compass from. And that's extremely dangerous because in no other part of history was that ever true. Only until the advent of popular music and the 21st century, 20th century too, was when music and art and movies and stuff like that was pushed so heavy on society that they became the new cultural heroes, and it's really unfortunate. We see the results of that. I mean, even people that quote think that they're not realistic, they still base upon their happiness. Especially in the West, with how much access they have to material wealth, how easy, how comfortable they're living, right. And they also base upon their relationships and their interactions and their friendships with how these supposed cultural heroes are. There's not real friendships anymore. People just use each other for clout, as they say. Don't really love their respective partner. It's just like, oh, this is their jump off, saying, until they get the next better person. Like hypergamy is really big right now.
Hypergamy is huge, and it's.
Yeah, no, go ahead.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, man. I just say you brought up that word, and it's so sad because you see, I've even seen it within relationships. And that's not to say men don't have an urge to look at other relationships, but the way in which the shaitan has thwarted the woman's desire to have and sustain a relationship, to where if she's not being fed a certain thing or given a certain thing within the relationship, she's more than willing to just hop to the next. Even if she doesn't do it physically, mentally, she will definitely have her eyes somewhere else. And it's hypergamy huge, man. And it's really sad that we as men have to go through that. But yeah, I can't stand that behavior. That is just the worst. It destroys families, it destroys societies. And I'm telling you, like, man, it's death. It's just, I've seen it too many times.
Yeah, that's the thing with the dating culture, bro, is the freaking dating culture, man. I remember when I was out there dating and stuff like that. Even for me, I was just like, oh, I'm gonna date this chick and then go out with her for a little while, and then I have my fun, and then later on when she bores me, I'm just gonna jump on the next one. And then honestly, I'm kind of ashamed of this, but even back in the day, dude, I wasn't faithful. I used to cheat a lot because I was so satisfied, you know what I'm saying? Like I always wanted a girl that was hotter or a girl that was like fun to be around and stuff like that. And I had no sense of loyalty because honestly, the society really doesn't value loyalty on any level, regardless if it's friends, family, or your respective partner or spouse or siblings. It's everything's to the highest bidder, right? And we kind of like, as a society now, we're trying to just use each other for whatever means, that they are anymore. There's no kind of sense of honor or character. So,
I always say that dating is a convenience nowadays. It's like, you see people who are dating for 5, 6, 7 years, and you bring up the topic of marriage, and it's like, what is that? No, I don't do that.
Yeah.
And it shows you right then and there why those people are maybe in each other's lives, and that may be something that they may have established, but at least do it contractually, at least do it transactionally, where you both understand that, and you're not at the end of the day ruining someone's life because you've wasted so much time being a certain convenience or having them as a certain convenience in your life, whether it's sex, money, just not wanting to be alone, companionship and whatnot. You do that all under the guise of marriage, it's important. It's really important for us to get back to that.
Yeah, well, I think it's kind of crazy that people make out marriage being so hard. I think society makes marriage hard. And I think another thing is, for instance, I previously, when I did date, me and my ex, we lived together. And in everything in the sense of the word, we were kind of freaking married. I mean, we lived together, we did this, we did that. And it's just like, but I even think about like how as an oxymoron, I was kind of crazy where you would access we were going to get married. She probably wanted to get married, but I was just like, why do I need the cow if I got the milk for free? You know what I'm saying? So that was kind of my attitude, you know what I mean? And it's crazy. There's a lot of people, the standard is like people who've been in together, very, very easily within like but somehow it takes you forever to get married or to even get engaged. And that's kind of freaking crazy when you think about it. And anybody who does that, to be honest, especially, this goes to sisters, bro. If your boyfriend doesn't want to talk about marriage and stuff like that, but yet he wants to move in with you and stuff like that, that means it's going to be very easy for him to move on when things aren't going the way that he wants it to be. You know what I'm saying?
Or he's conveniencing a certain aspect of his life that he thinks you are eligible to fulfill, and you don't want to be used that way. It's a bad thing.
Yeah, definitely, brother. So you got a couple people watching. Make sure that you guys like, share, subscribe, man. This is the first stream I've done in a whole minute, and I thank you guys for so much taking out your time during the day to check this out. I know I've been as consistent as I should be, but I try to take streaming seriously. Like I think less is more, and sometimes I feel like in the past when I did a stream, I was doing streams all the time, and then I was saying, harping on the same topics over and over and over again. So now that I got somebody to collaborate with and stuff like that, be prepared to see a lot more. That's all I have. Any closing words, Brother Terrence?
I kind of wanted to talk about. I don't know if you wanted to spend 5-10 minutes.
Oh, okay, yeah. There's something else.
The other topic we discussed.
Okay.
I don't like to say it online because they might tap the thing again. But the whole vax thing. COVID thing.
Yeah, go ahead.
So I wanted to discuss that because it's really important that we understand what's taking place. And I know a lot of you are for the vax. I'm not. And if you watch some of my content, the chosen one, the guided one, you can check me out on YouTube and on my Instagram, which I posted in the comments here on my brother's platform. It's really important that we know what's going on in society right now. It's really important that we know what a vaccine is, what virology is, what microbiology is, and that we're looking into these things instead of just listening to CNN or the talking boxes in our living room. That's my favorite phrase, talking box in your living room, because that is all that it's doing to you. It's talking to you and you're following. And for the Muslims, I'm only talking to the Muslims here. If you got the vaccine for the month of Ramadan, you're not fasting. Actually, if you got the vaccine at any point in time, you're not fasting. The vaccine being put in your body, putting those chemicals in your body, the reason you fast is to detox, is to make ourselves pure in front of Allah. And in that process, it actually gives us the patience and the tolerance to be better Muslims and practice our deen better. And when you do that, when you put those chemicals into the body, you're actually not becoming pure anymore. You're actually putting something into your body, which is technology. You're putting technology into your body. And you're actually causing yourself to be impure in front of Allah. So if you just blindly went and got this thing because you fear for your life, or you fear for your livelihood, or to be able to sustain a lifestyle for your family and whatnot, because you feel like they're coercing everybody, which they are. They're coercing everybody to get it by attacking certain aspects of society, like grocery, day-to-day activities, commutes, and all that. They put a limit on these things to force people to a certain lifestyle and to get vaccinated. And it's all about whether or not you can have the fortitude to establish yourself and your lifestyle and your family to not have to depend on those things so you can still continue to flourish. And a lot of people don't realize this. And this may even turn a lot of people away. But all I'm trying to advocate for is that you educate yourself and know that if you got vaccinated, you broke your fast. Because those are chemicals, this is technology. Those are serums. Those are poisons that you're putting in that you have no idea. These people didn't even diagnose you. You just went and got it. You understand? You're not using your brain. And I need to put that message out there. You go to my channel, like I said, I'm a little more unorthodox the way I speak. I'm not the average Muslim. The Prophet said that there'd be 73 sects of Islam, right, towards the end times. And the one who doesn't follow any of them is the true Muslim. And I like to call myself just a Muslim. I'm not Sunni, I'm not Shia, I'm not anything. I'm a Muslim.
Yeah.
So you guys need to get with that program and start to educate yourselves and really know what direction you're headed in terms of your deen and everything. So peace and love to you all. I guess I'll let my brother Zaki close here. And it was a pleasure to meet you all. And hopefully I'll be on soon to collab and just
Inshallah, man.
put more information out there.
Yeah, brother. Yeah, that's a good, interesting thing. Also, man, people, so-called free-thinking people really aren't free-thinking sometimes, man, because a lot of the people that I notice that support the vaccine, they won't support any information that is contrary to that. For instance, I didn't know this, but none of the vaccines were approved by the FDA.
No.
None of them.
No.
And that, if that's not troubling for you, that says everything. Or they'll prop up people like Bill Gates as being this philanthropist. Like this guy somehow knows about diseases, but Bill Gates, man, if you actually follow the paper trail behind Bill Gates, man, there's some really messed up, problematic things he's trying to do. In particular, if you're a melanated person, he's really trying to do a lot of things in Africa that are basically straight up population control, man. And he's not trying to hide these, but it's not even like you have to dig deep to find this stuff. He's straight up said it about in his mouth and stuff.
Genetic warfare.
Yeah, genetic warfare, man. And there's all kinds of stuff. There's also that he's trying to get the technology to fight, quote, climate change with like basically he's trying to darken the atmosphere. So, and I'll share the article when I get it, but it's freaking something that in the Matrix, you know what I'm saying? Because in the Matrix, remember they were like, when they fought the machines, they blacked out the sun and stuff like that. Well, literally this guy is coming up with technology that's very similar. And it's freaking crazy that doesn't raise any eyebrows and stuff.
Get your sunlight.
Yeah, exactly, man. Hey, man, you're melanated, especially, man. You ain't hurting yourself. Dude, I'm trying to get some sunlight right now. You know what I'm saying? So.
And stop using sunscreen because it's made from melanin. It's made from melanin.
Yeah.
Just to piggyback what you said, it was in Revenge of the Fallen, Transformers, where the Fallen tried to block out the sun, and he needed his matrix to do so. So wow, I do a lot of decoding, and I actually got that from shout out to RFG Chosen One on YouTube. You should go check him out. He has a lot of woke content. He decodes like sports and movies, and he uses spirituality to do so. It's really interesting. But yeah, it's definitely a war for the melanated man and woman. Dr. Phil Valentine actually has a book called The Wounded Womb. I'm gonna give him a shout out. I love watching that man. He's probably one of the smartest men I've ever listened to. Mashallah. And he calls it The Wounded Womb, and it's the focus of the black female because her mitochondrial DNA is the ancestral DNA of the planet. And he also talks about, he has a 15-minute video that I'd like a lot of you to go check out. It's called What is a Man by Dr. Phil Valentine. Beautiful, like man, the way in which he put that on how the modern black man isn't being explored. He's only looked at for what he can do and not what he is. Mm-hmm. And I thought it was a beautiful take on that. So go check that out. But to kind of just cap it off, it's definitely a war for actually. I did a study on using my notes when I went to medical school for a little bit. I wouldn't even call it medical school, it was a surgical tech course. I kept my books and I started to look at the bacteriophages and some of the things and the tools in which they use to control viruses. And it was measured in NM, nanometers, nanotechnology. Pfizer BioNTech. BioNTech is based in Germany. It's a tech company, nanotechnology. Hello. So, these are some of the things that you guys need to link together. And it's very simple. It takes 5 minutes to do, but, everybody's too worried about what nowadays. What's trending right now?
Yeah.
See, I don't even know.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't follow that kind of stuff, but it's important that we do our own research because shout out to the melanated community. We're being targeted. I did a Google search. I put 400 NN, which was one of the measurements of the bacteriophages. Nothing but articles about melanin came up and coronavirus. And it was absolutely insane. I'm like, wow, they really are targeting. And you can see it in the news because they're the ones who mentioned us the most. Melanated minorities should be the ones who are worried the most.
Exactly.
And that's what they said on the news. That's the narrative. So it's a war. It's really a war. But yeah, we'll be in touch with that. You know, we'll make some more content about that.
Yeah, right on. And thank you guys again for so much, man. Hearts will again go out to our sisters in Palestine. Palestine, yeah, you heard it.
You call Jesus ancient Palestinian.
Yeah.
It's Israel. Like,
Yeah. For those the Mossad people that tried to hack earlier, man, you know, hey, it's all good.
Yeah.
It's all good. You know what I'm saying? But much love to them. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant them all the highest level agenda for their struggles. So I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Take care. I'll catch you guys on the flip side. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Take care.